Check, check. Check, check.
Pretty close. Which one's that?
Come, whoever you are welcome here. No matter your age, your size, the color of your eyes, your hair, your skin, you are welcome here. If you came alone or with others, you are welcome here. No matter whom you love or how you speak, whatever your abilities, you are welcome here. Whether you come with laughter in your heart, tears in your eyes, you are welcome here. If you come with an open mind, a loving heart, and willing hands, then you are indeed welcome here. Thank you, Jane, for that rendition. That is not the Bear Went Over the Mountain that I sang in kindergarten. That was delightful. And welcome to everyone. Glad you found your way in over the mess in the front at the front door. We hope it'll be gone soon. We have no idea. So welcome to the First Unitarian Universalist Church of New Orleans, one of 3 congregations in the greater New Orleans area. The other 2 are Community Church Unitarian Universalist in Lakeview and North Shore Unitarian Universalist in Lacombe, Louisiana. Together, we are the Greater New Orleans Unitarian Universalist, or GNU, which is easier to say. This congregation has gathered in love since 1833 to seek wholeness and work for justice in the world. I am Beverly Rainbolt, and my pronouns are she, her, and y'all. If you are a visitor, we invite you to raise your hand so that we can greet you, or if you're watching via live stream, please wave or say hello in the comments. Do we have any visitors this morning? All right. Welcome. We are a lay-led church charged with the mission to offer joyful, mind-expanding worship services, provide opportunities for fellowship and spiritual development for children, youth, young adults, and adults, promote social change and inspire service to the larger community. On Sunday mornings, we aspire to fill that mission by inviting UUA ministers, other religious professionals, and leaders from our community organizations working for social justice, as well as our own lay members, to be voices of hope, courage, and spiritual or intellectual transformation from our pulpit. This morning, providing that voice, we're thrilled to have new member Melissa Gamble, who has been working with the worship arts team for about a year and is in her other time a chaplain at Ochsner Hospital. Yay, Melissa. I will remind you that the text for the chalice lighting, readings, and hymns are available by aiming your smartphone camera at the QR code on the card in the backs of the chairs. And, you pull the code up and there's everything. Members of the worship team would ask that you send some feedback. At the bottom of that form, there's some little questions. Do you have any comments about the service? It won't interfere with the Saints game today. I'll let you know that. So, but before I go on, I want to make a special thanks to those of you who have what I've called church sitters. The last couple of weeks, I've called on several volunteers to come be at the church as we have all these various inspections that go along with selling the building. So we've had several people come by and just sit and be here, and I appreciate that. And I especially appreciate Veronica Young, who came and turned the water on Wednesday night and turned to a trickle and then turned it back off on Thursday morning, and Noelle, who did that yesterday. And I do want to remind you, this is an important thing, that the what we're calling Exploratory Group 1 and CCUU members are meeting this coming Sunday, January the 28th at 2 o'clock, so that everybody can go get something to eat and then come back and give the CCUU people time to get over here. And so that's another conversation about how we can all be UUs together in New Orleans and grow UUism in New Orleans. If you have any questions or suggestions for agenda items, you can talk with Claudia Barker, who is right over here. And now I have Madeline Hulk, who is going to come and make a special spotlight announcement.
Good morning. I'm here to talk about the young adult group here at church. This year we are going to be holding young adult coffee hours in the chapel after services on the first and third Sundays of the month. So today is going to be our first meeting. If you are a young adult between the ages of 18 and 35-ish, we hope to see you in the chapel after service today. Thanks.
This is you.
Please rise in body or spirit and join me in our call to awareness and amends. I'll read the regular font and you'll read the italicized text. We gather today at a crossroads,
On land the Choctaw called Bobancha,
the place of many tongues,
a place we call home,
but we are newcomers to this land.
while native peoples are of this land. The Caddo and the Natchez, the Choctaw, Chitimacha, and Homa, Tunica, Biloxi, Atakapai Ishak, and more,
Know that we gather
on land that was stolen,
the spoils of colonialism and broken treaties.
of forced removal and genocide.
Acknowledging this history is just the first step.
We must set ourselves to the task of repair.
Where we have harmed,
We seek to heal.
where we have taken,
We seek to give.
Where we have disparaged,
we seek to honor.
just as the flame of our chalice,
Lights our way to beloved community,
we add life-giving water to earth.
to recall the land's native roots and to nurture solidarity.
Only when we strive to make amends,
Do we affirm the inherent worth and dignity of each person.
please remain as you are as we have our lighting of our chalice according to our heritage. Our chalice lighting today comes from Reverend Summer Albuyati. In betwixt and in between, we move in the liminal spaces that show shades of what can become, what can be. We light this chalice as a symbol of courage to move into that time of this and that, and not this and not that, with patience and faith and love and hope that this time will pass. Like the sun that moves in between rising and setting, reminding us that beauty resounds in betwixt and in between.
Please remain as you are and join in singing our opening hymn, number 38, Morning Has Broken. Morning has broken like the first morning. Blackbird has spoken like the first bird. Praise for the singing, praise for the morning, praise for them springing fresh from the word. Sweet is the dew fall, sunlit from heaven, like the first dew fall on the first grass. Praise for the sweetness of the wet garden, sprung in completeness where God's feet pass. Mine is the sunlight, mine is the morning, born of the one light Eden saw play. Praise with elation, praise every morning, God's recreation of the new day. Please be seated.
Good morning. I was told by Katie, our Director of Religious Exploration, who is with her mother right now helping her in Maine, she said, why don't you have new members being welcomed, why don't we sing the 7 Principles song for the Time for All Ages? And so I would love to invite our eldest member, Veronica, if you wouldn't mind taking number 1, and our youngest member who's here today, I think there's 2 of them, Cora and Charlie. So maybe if you wouldn't mind taking number 7. Ooh, it's a good one. And I wonder if our new members who are being welcomed today wouldn't mind volunteering to hold up some of the cards in the middle. Could we get y'all to do that? All right. Here's number 2. Number 3. Oh, number 3 is number 4. Number 5. And number 6. Oh, these are such eager volunteers. They're going to be great new members. Okay, let's see. People have a say. Oh, no, okay. I think you're right between Lane and Melissa. Yes, number 4, Search for What is True. And I think everyone's going to recognize the tune once Jane plays the introduction, and we'll get the words because when it's your number, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, you hold up your card for everyone to see. Okay? We ready? One, each person is important. 2, be kind in all you do. 3, we're free to learn together. 4, and search for what is true. 5, all people have a say. 6, work for a peaceful world. 7, the web of life's the way that will bring us back to me and you. 1, each person is important. 2, be kind in all you do. 3, we're free to learn together. 4, and search for what is true. 5, all people have a say. 6, work for a peaceful world. 7, the web of life's the way that will bring us back to me and you. Yay! Thanks, y'all. And if we can, while we collect those, I think it's time for the crew of Kids for Change. And so I hope everyone remembers that the cause that the children agreed to donate their spare change to this year is the Wellness Project New Orleans, which works to help people afford therapy, which is such a great cause. So reach in your pockets and your bags for any spare change. They even accept dollar bills. If that's all you have, they're going to come through the aisles. And also, please remember, they're selling king cake slices for $1 each at coffee hour.
Please join me in a time of meditation. Thinking about the weeks past, I invite you all to think about those small moments that brought joy, those small moments that made you laugh or chuckle or giggle, those moments that you truly felt seen, those moments where you were held this past week, those moments where you looked someone in the eye and they just got what you were saying, a moment when you really needed a friend or you really needed yourself and you showed up for yourself. I want you to think about those moments. and let's have a time of silence where we're holding those moments dear and close to our hearts right now. And as you thought about those moments, I want you to keep those moments near. I want you to keep those moments dear. I want you to keep those moments at the top of your hearts and your minds.
Voice still and small, deep inside all, I hear you call, singing in darkened rain, sorrow and pain, still you remain, singing, calming my fears, quenching my tears, through all the years, singing.
At this time, I'm going to call Jody Manali up. Jody is our membership chair, and this is a special service that we do a couple of times of the year, and we're really excited about it. Here you go, Jody.
Good morning. I'm very happy and joyful to invite these new members up to the front. When you come up, please bring your insert in the order of worship, because we'll be reading those words together. Danjuma, Melissa Gamble, Madeline Hawk, Dylan Hutzler, Carol Kennedy, and Lane Poplin. Stand along here is fine. No particular order. Y'all just, no particular order. Stand together. Okay.
There's no particular order this time. Okay. Now I invite the rest of the congregation to participate with me in what we call our new member recognition ceremony. You have the liturgy that should be on the insert in your order of worship. I will read the leader parts. Members will read the members' part. And guests can read either part, I guess. On the table behind me are the three symbols representing what binds us together as members of this congregation. The flaming chalice, sign of our liberal faith tradition, a vessel that feeds and protects our spiritual life. The bowl, used in our water communion ritual, reminder of our aspiration to support each through storm waters of grief and loss, rushing waters of change and transition, still waters of rest and renewal, and shining waters of joy and happiness. And the membership book, which is both record and symbol of our commitment to the vision and mission of this church. By joyously living our UU principles, Orleans. To become a member of this church is a commitment to engage with this community of faith in caring for one another, searching for truth, and making meaning, working for justice, and learning to live in ever more loving, right relationship with ourselves, each other, and the world. These are not always easy things to do. That is why we covenant to do them together. So I'm pretty sure they'll all be here for coffee hour. You can welcome them again this morning. I'm going to come down and just shake hands. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I know y'all have all been busy and working, but welcome already, but welcome anyway. Good morning. And I'm thrilled to be able to do this part this morning.
An Invocation, Still I Rise by Maya Angelou. You may write me down in history with your bitter, twisted lies. You may trod me in the very dirt, but still, like dust, I'll rise. Does my sassiness upset you? Why are you beset with gloom? Because I walk like I got oil wells pumping in my living room? Just like moons and like suns with the certainty of tides, just like hopes springing high, still, I'll rise. Do you want to see me broken, bowed head and lowered eyes, shoulders falling down like teardrops, weakened by my soulful cries? Does my haughtiness offend you? Don't you take it awful hard, 'cause I laugh like I got gold mines pumping in my own backyard. You may shoot me with your words, you may cut me with your eyes, you may kill me with your hatefulness, but still, like air, I'll rise. Does my sexiness upset you? Does it come as a surprise that I dance like I've got diamonds at the meeting of my thighs? Out of the huts of history's shame, I rise. Up from a past that's rooted in pain, I rise. I'm a black ocean, leaping and wide, welling and swelling, I bear in the tide. Leaving behind nights of terror and fear, I rise. Into a daybreak that's wondrously clear, I rise. Bringing the gifts that my ancestors gave, I am the hope and the dream of the slave. I rise, I rise, I rise. That was Still I Rise by Maya Angelou. I write love letters to myself. I say love poems to myself. I acknowledge myself. I affirm myself. I acknowledge my flaws. I'm hard on myself. I need to practice more self-awareness. I am too aware of myself. I need to write more love letters to myself, say more poems, and give more grace. I am a contradiction. My life is a contradiction. My identities are seemingly contradictory, yet I am existing. I am being. Complex and simply, I am me. I, who am not a solitude I, or a soul being isolated in time and space and thought. I and we who live in the contradictions of the world, seeing how it is and knowing how it ought to be. And we who live in the reality of our world and all the perils and toughness and harsh, the hard. And we, just by being I and you, and us and you and me and we, who are living in the mundane and the everyday of our lives, create beauty and crave closeness, feel pain and receive comfort, and give grace. We who grieve together and alone, and rejoice together and alone, and celebrate and memorialize and see and become seen and live, even well despite of the world not making any damn sense. Poetry can be an invitation, a welcoming, a statement, or even a whisper of here I am, come with me, you see me, and I you. Let's do this together. Let's laugh, let's scream, let's cry, let's be here, let's be human. Now, in the future, here, there, somewhere that makes some sort of sense, even if just for a moment. We ascribe the word poetic to describe poetry, yes, but words, performances, moments, dances, things we witness that have a profound and emotional impact are poetic. That song was pure poetry, you might hear one say. That statement was utterly poetic. That dance was poetry. The birds chirping was poetic to my ears. Our experience of language as aesthetics is poetics, things that bring us pleasure and joy, that create meaning, that help us create meaning making. The regular cadence of children's laughter, a sorrow song, being seen when you felt invisible the entire day, a word of comfort when you're feeling down. Poetics, a way of making sense of the world that is full of violence and war, despair, things that should not exist, yet they do. A text from a friend saying, I'm here, a condolence from a mere acquaintance that remembered that you are grieving and are experiencing a loss. A moment of connection that makes you say, this is what it means to be human. This is life, this is human interconnectedness. Oh, it's good to be seen. And so we think of Mary Oliver's poem, The Wild Geese. For it reads, you do not have to be good. You do not have to walk on your knees for 100 miles through the desert repenting. You only have to let the soft animal of your body love what it loves. Tell me about despair, yours, and I'll tell you mine. Meanwhile, the world goes on. Meanwhile, the sun and the clear pebbles of the rain are moving across the landscapes, over the prairies and the deep trees, the mountains and the rivers. Meanwhile, the wild geese, high in the clean blue air, are heading home again. Whoever you are, no matter how lonely, the world offers itself to your imagination, calls to you like the wild geese, harsh and exciting, over and over, announcing your place in the family of things. Those are the words of Mary Oliver. And they remind us to think of motion, of birds and trees and wind, of mountains, of worlds being created again and again and again. By us, which is to say all of nature, of beings being, of being seen, of feeling heard, moments of recognition and acknowledgement, of safety and comfort, being held and beholden, of tenderness and of pleasure, of wailing loudly, of screaming at the top of your lungs and knowing that not the scream, but the emotions behind it have been understood too and heard, and of mourning and of grief, and of finding and sitting in both, that you are not alone, of spotting one person in the crowd who deeply understands your words as your shaky hands grasp at the mic, trying to speak some truth to power for the first time, and feeling that maybe you've finally been heard. Or maybe finding that you're still yearning to be heard, that you have not yet felt so. And I think of The Introvert's Banter by Rupi Kubar, who says, I don't really have anything to say that hasn't been said before. I don't have any claims to make that haven't been claimed before. I don't have any movements to organize that haven't been moved before. But I like to write and I like people to listen. And I've never really been heard before. Those are the words of Rupi Kapoor in The Introvert's Banner. For these words to remind us that sometimes words come to us in their own time and feelings too, that we may not know what it's like to be heard all the time, but perhaps by saying we have never been heard before, never been seen before, never been listened to before, we can create that very insistent, that very demand that we deserve to be seen, we deserve to be listened to, we deserve to be cared for and loved, we truly deserve, we deserve. And we speak and write being listened to and to power. We speak being heard into power. We speak and we claim being seen into power, for we are that power. We are that power. So then I think of the words Lucille Clifton, who in Won't You Celebrate With Me, she writes, won't you celebrate with me? What have I shaped into? A kind of life I had no model. Born in Babylon, both non-white and woman, what did I see to be except myself? I made it up. Here on this bridge between starshine and clay, my one hand holding tight my other hand. Come celebrate with me that every day something that has tried to kill me and has failed. I want to read that one again. For she says, won't you celebrate with me what I have shaped into a kind of life I had no model. Born in Babylon, both non-white and woman, what did I see to be except myself? I made it up. Here on this bridge between starshine and clay, my one hand holding tight my other hand. Come celebrate with me that every day something has tried to kill me and has failed. If those words don't remind us to celebrate and dance, that every day that something has tried to kill us or break us, has failed, that we are here. We are here. We are here. And the fact that ideologies, stereotypes, categorizations, telling you you're this and you're that, cannot contain us nor define us. Ideologies that have always had the first and last word, like of blackness only as criminality, of masculinity without room for femininity, of queerness as an ontology for whites only, of confinement to the point of perpetual estrangement, of commodified care and regulated glee. For we know that a desire for a better world belies these ideologies, that our resistance lies in tender touches and voices that reach too high, of dreams of pure bliss without binding doubt, a love that is cosmic even in its ending, of melancholy tunes sang in subliminal ruse, of never-ending echoes of black and brown joy and trans bodies, living it well and ever so freely. For this we know that life, according to ideologies that prohibit us from freely living, is like a poem that never reaches your soul. For one of my favorite queer theorists, Jose Munoz, states that it matters to get lost in dance and to use dance to get lost. That it matters to get lost in dance and to use dance to get lost. It matters to get lost in poetry and to use poetry to get lost. It matters to get lost in each other and to use each other to get lost. It matters. It matters. And that in getting lost, we're lost in each other. We're lost to this big world full of violence and hate and suffering. And we find those small moments that create worlds, those small moments where being lost to the world, lost in each other, we're creating worlds, and those worlds matter. Even if just for a moment, those moments matter. For many poets and writers and theorists and theologians and spiritualists tell us that another world is always possible, and that we create that world and bring it into fruition. And we do that every day. We do that every day. I remember doing bread communion. Michael shared with me the joy of making bread, and I still recount that story to folks that I meet as I'm trying to learn how to make bread. And I think about Henry talking about his family and sending me a picture and an email just highlighting his beautiful family. And I think about Margot and her laughter. And I think about every single one of us here, First UU. We matter. We see each other. And those moments where you fully feel seen, they matter. They matter. Those are the moments that sustain us, for they become the very insistence, our very demand that another world is possible because we live it, we do it, we create it, we are creating it, we are here doing it. To and for the people who sustain us and make us and keep us and hold us, we can say thank you. And we can say thank you to ourselves for seeing and holding and being and showing up. And to these worlds we create in these moments and places and the in-between times, the we's and the us's we find in them, the beauty and the tenderness, the vulnerability, the grieving that we must do as the world rages on. We find ourselves, we find each other, we live there, even in seconds, even in minutes, for a time, but it sustains us, and it's good. It is always, always good.
Generosity is a spiritual discipline, and we can now practice our act of giving either by placing our offering in the collection plate or by texting GIVE to 504-608-7030, or you can use the handy QR code on your order of worship. this morning. I'm thankful for the acoustics in this sanctuary. Gifts to this community of faith are gratefully received. Let us acknowledge these gifts by reading together the words in your order of service. This gift from the abundance of my life blesses me, our ministries, and the world. Please stand, embody your spirit, and join in our chalice extinguishing, which is also in your order of service. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
Please remain risen and join in singing our closing hymn, number 182, Oh, the Beauty in a Life. Oh, the beauty in a life that illumines honor anew, that models wise and gracious ways to every seeker, that every day shall serve in joy and do the right. Oh, praise the life whose beauty shows how justice true. Let not service of the good be confined to great saints alone, but every hour be part of all our daily living. Set not the hope of wisdom's grace beyond our ken. How wide the path, how close the goal which love has shown. Oh, the beauty of a life that illumines care, of the soul that knows a love that is for self as well as others, that every day embodies praise for every good. This is the faith to which we turn our God and goal.
A few months ago, I ran into Miss Gwendolyn at church, and she said, "It's good to be seen. Oh, it's good to be seen." And that is truly true. That reigns true. And I hope that you go forth in your week looking at yourself, looking at the folks that make you feel seen, how you make others feel seen, and that you call it good, that you call it good, for it is, and that will always be true. Go forth.
Thank you.